planet was quiet, too quiet. Dust swirled in the thin air, and the red rocks shone under the dim sun. Yalan walked carefully, scanning the ground for any signs of life. He had been sent to explore this abandoned region, a place no human had ventured for decades, and his heart raced with both fear and excitement. Strange footprints caught his eye. They were larger than a human's, but the shape was unusual. He bent down, brushing away the red dust, and studied them. They were fresh. Something had been here recently, and it wasn't alone. Jalen's communicator beeped softly, reminding him to stay alert, but curiosity pushed him forward. Every shadow looked alive. A twisted metal structure stood nearby, half buried in the sand. He approached it slowly, his senses sharp. A soft, whimpering sound came from inside. Yalan froze. It was faint, almost like a child crying, but it wasn't human. He held his breath and moved closer, peering into the darkness. His eyes widened as he saw a creature unlike anything he had ever seen, hiding under the broken metal panels, shivering. It was small, but its body was strange. Skin with a faint glow, eyes too large for its face, and tiny claws that scratched nervously at the ground. It stared at him with fear and pain, and yet there was something intelligent in those eyes. Jalen's chest tightened. He had never felt this before. "Hey, is okay," he whispered, taking a cautious step forward. The creature hissed softly, retreating further under the debris. Yalan knew he had to be careful. Any sudden move could scare it away or worse, make it attack. He noticed the creature's leg was bent unnaturally. It limped, dragging its body across the dusty floor. Jalen's heart sank. He couldn't leave it here. No matter how strange it looked, no matter the danger, he had to help it. Jalen scanned the area quickly. He picked up a long, flat piece of metal from the debris and held it gently, thinking it could guide the creature out safely. "Come on, you can trust me," he murmured, inching closer. The creature flinched but didn't run this time, its eyes tracking his every move. Minutes passed like hours. The wind howled, the dust swirled, and the sun dipped lower, painting the rocks in deep orange. Finally, the creature made a small move, inching toward the metal. Yalan stayed still, letting it come to him, and slowly it limped closer. A small sigh of relief escaped his lips. Suddenly, a shadow moved in the distance. Yalan froze, turning his head. Nothing. Just a trick of the light, he thought, but a chill ran down his spine. He focused on the creature again. His breathing was ragged, its body weak, but it was alive. Carefully, Yalan helped the creature onto the flat piece of metal. It hissed, but didn't struggle. He lifted it gently, keeping it close to his chest. Its warmth surprised him. Even though it looked strange, it was alive, scared, and in pain. And now, it was trusting him as he walked back toward his temporary shelter. Yalan couldn't shake the feeling that he wasn't alone. The planet was silent again, but he sensed eyes watching from the shadows. Whoever or whatever had created this place might not be happy with him taking the creature. He tightened his grip on the small, glowing body and whispered, "Don't worry, I'll keep you safe." The sun disappeared behind the horizon, and darkness fell. The wind carried whispers through the red canyons, and Yalan realized that his life and the creature's life had just changed forever. Yalan returned to his small shelter, the creature cradled carefully in his arms, its strange eyes glowing faintly in the dim light. It hissed softly, wary and tense, but did not struggle. Every step he took felt heavy with responsibility. He had never saved anything like this before, and he knew mistakes could cost both their lives. He laid the creature gently on a soft blanket he had made from old cloth and metal padding. Its leg was bent, and he could see deep scratches along its skin. "It's okay," he whispered, brushing the dust from its face. "I won't let anything hurt you." Yalan opened his small medical kit, unsure what alien creature medicine would work. He wrapped its leg carefully, trying not to cause more pain. The creature flinched and hissed, but then it froze, as if understanding he meant no harm. Every movement felt delicate. One wrong touch, and it could run or worse. Attack. Hours passed, and Yalan fed the creature small portions of nutrient paste. It sniffed the food suspiciously, but eventually took it. As it ate, it looked at him, and Yalan felt something stranger. Connection forming. The creature was intelligent. He realized it wasn't just an animal. It was aware, watching, learning, and judging him silently. Night fell over the planet. The wind howled outside, and shadows moved eerily across the shelter. Walls. Yalan built a small barrier to protect both himself and the creature. but he could feel unease settling in his chest. Something was wrong. The planet wasn't as empty as it seemed. Suddenly, a sharp noise echoed outside. Yalan froze. A metallic clang, like heavy boots stepping on rocks, echoed again. He grabbed a makeshift weapon, his heart racing. The creature hissed and lowered its body, ready to strike if needed. Jalen's mind raced. Who or what was out there? The noise stopped. Silence fell. Jalen's grip on the weapon relaxed slightly, but he couldn't shake the feeling that someone had been watching him. He looked at the creature. Its large eyes darted toward the shadows, and it made a low growl. That growl wasn't just fear. It was warning him. Don't worry, Yalan whispered softly. I'll protect you. The creature seemed to calm, leaning slightly into his hand. A strange warmth spread through him. His small being, so alien, had trusted him despite its fear. That trust was fragile and precious. He noticed something unusual on the creature's glowing skin, a small, metallic tag, partially hidden under the fur-like covering. Yalan examined it closely. Symbols he didn't recognize glimmered faintly. Could it be a form of ownership? The thought sent chills down his spine. If someone came looking for this creature, they might not be friendly. Yalan wrapped the creature carefully in the blanket and moved toward a hidden part of the shelter, a small alcove he had prepared for emergencies. He whispered again, "You're safe for now, but we have to be careful." The creature's eyes met his, and for the first time, it didn't hiss. It simply watched, its breathing steady but cautious. The night dragged on. Every shadow outside seemed to move with a mind of its own. Yalan stayed alert, ready to protect his new companion. He realized that this was only the beginning. He didn't know who or what created this creature, or why it had been left alone and wounded. As he finally settled near the creature, he felt a sense of unease, a warning that danger was coming. Something powerful was watching, waiting, and whatever it was, it would not forgive the human who had dared to touch its secret. Yalan whispered softly as the creature slowly closed its eyes. "We'll face it together. Whatever comes next." The wind howled outside, and the stars above seemed to shine brighter, as if warning him that their journey had only just begun. The next morning, Yalan woke to the faint glow of the planet's sun creeping through the cracks of his shelter. The creature stirred beside him, stretching carefully, favoring its injured leg. Its eyes met his, calm but alert, as if waiting for him to make a decision. Yalan studied the small metallic tag he had found on its body the night before. The symbols shimmered faintly, like they were alive. He ran his fingers over it, feeling a strange vibration. It wasn't just an ID tag, it was a key, a signal of something much bigger. Someone important owned this creature, he realized, and that someone was watching. He tried to imagine who would leave a creature like this alone on a dangerous planet. The thought made him uneasy. If its owner discovered him, what would happen? He knew humans were not supposed to interfere with such rare alien beings, but he couldn't ignore the creature's suffering. He had made a choice, and now he had to face the consequences. Hours later, Yalan decided to explore the area near his shelter, hoping to find clues about the creature's origin. He moved carefully, carrying the creature in a small sling. Every sound made it flinch, rocks falling, wind whistling, even the distant hum of strange machinery. The world around them felt alive, watching, waiting. Then, a shadow passed over the horizon. Yalan froze, scanning the ridges and valleys. A figure appeared, a tall, elegant being with a commanding presence. Her clothing glimmered in the sunlight, covered with strange patterns that matched the symbols on the creature's tag. The air seemed to hum around her, as if the planet itself recognized her. "Give me my pet," she said, her voice calm but cold, echoing across the canyon. Her eyes, sharp and piercing, locked on the creature. It hissed softly, but did not move from Jalen's side. Yalan stepped forward, holding the creature protectively. "It was hurt," he said cautiously. "I only wanted to help. I didn't know it belonged to anyone." The figure studied him silently. The creature's glowing skin pulsed faintly, as if responding to her presence. She knelt slightly, her gaze softening for a moment as she examined the creature's leg. "You have courage," she said finally, "and kindness. Not many would risk themselves for a being like this." Yalan felt a mix of relief and fear. He didn't know if he should trust her. "Who are you?" he asked, his voice shaky. "I am Baroness Solara," she replied, rising gracefully. "And this creature is not just any pet. It carries secrets that could change worlds. You have interfered, human, but your heart is pure. That is rare." Jalen's mind raced. He had no idea what secrets the creature held, but he realized now that his simple act of kindness had placed him in something far larger than he could imagine. The Baroness was powerful, and the creature was important. Every choice he made from this point on could decide not just his fate, but the fate of the creature as well. The creature shifted in his arms, its glowing eyes meeting the Baroness's. It made a low, rumbling sound, not a growl, but something almost like recognition. Yalan felt a strange connection deepen between him, the creature, and the Baroness. The Baroness's expression changed subtly. She extended a hand toward the creature. "It has chosen you," she said quietly, more to herself than to him. "Perhaps there is more to this human than I expected." Yalan felt a shiver run down his spine. The world around them seemed tense, the air heavy with anticipation. He had saved the creature, but now he realized that this act had pulled him into a web of power, secrets, and danger he could not yet see. "Stay close," he whispered to the creature. "Whatever happens next, we face it together." The Baroness stepped back, her eyes never leaving them. Yalan knew the calm was only temporary. The real test was about to begin, and he had no idea what it would demand of him. Above, the alien sky shifted, colors rippling like liquid metal, hinting that something extraordinary was coming. Yalan tightened his hold on the creature, ready for whatever the universe would throw at him next. The next day, Yalan could feel the tension in the air. The Baroness Alara stood silently at the edge of his small shelter, her presence commanding and unusual. The creature in his arms stirred nervously, its glowing skin flickering like a warning. "You've cared for it," she said calmly, her piercing eyes fixed on him. "But that does not erase your interference. You have broken rules few humans, even though exists." Yalan swallowed hard. "I only wanted to help," he replied, trying to keep his voice steady. It was hurt, and no one else would have saved it. Solara's gaze softened for a moment, but the warning in her tone remained. "Compassion is rare, human, too rare. For this creature, it is more than it seems. It belongs to a lineage of beings with power you cannot imagine. And now, because of your actions, you are tied to its fate." The creature hissed softly, low and rumbling, as if understanding the weight of her words. Its large eyes flicked between Yalan and the Baroness, and in that moment, Yalan realized the bond that they shared had shifted. It wasn't just protection anymore. The creature trusted him, and it had chosen him. Solara stepped closer, raising her hand slightly. The air around her shimmered, and Yalan felt a pressure in his chest, a warning of the power she could command. "You will not take it lightly," she said. "I could demand it back now, but I see something in you, a spark of courage. Show me it is worthy." Jalen's heart pounded. He had no idea what she meant, but the look in her eyes made it clear. She expected a test, and failure was not an option. The creature twitched, sensing his fear, but it did not move from his arms. Together, they faced the Baroness. Suddenly, the ground trembled lightly. Dust rose in small waves. Solara's expression sharpened. "They're near," she said quietly. "The ones who will take this creature by force." Jalen's mind raced. The creature was important, more than he had imagined. If others came to claim it, he had to protect it no matter what. "We won't let them take you," he whispered, clutching the glowing body tighter. From the canyon's edge, shadows moved. Figures emerged, tall and armored, their eyes hidden behind reflective helmets. They advanced slowly, but with purpose, and Yalan realized they were not ordinary soldiers. They were enhanced, alien beings, trained to hunt. Solara raised her hand, and a wave of energy shimmered around her, forcing the intruders to halt. "You are bold," she said, "but boldness alone will not win this day. You must prove your worth." "Human," Yalan nodded, though his hands trembled. He studied the creatures around him, the intruders and the glowing companion in his arms. The creature made a soft, almost encouraging sound, and he felt a surge of courage. Together, they could face this. The intruders charged, their movements swift and precise. Yalan ducked behind rocks, shielding the creature, while Solara's powers flared, creating a barrier of energy that kept the attackers at bay. But she did not fight fully. The challenge was clear. Yalan had to act, not just rely on her, using quick thinking. Yalan lured the intruders into a narrow pass, where the terrain slowed them. He moved carefully, guiding the creature, using the environment to his advantage. Every second was critical, every step dangerous. He could feel the weight of responsibility pressing down on him. The creature stirred in his arms, glowing brighter. It hissed loudly, and Yalan realized it wanted to fight too. With a sudden leap, the creature lunged at one of the intruders, surprising them, and giving Yalan the opening he needed to push the others back. Solara watched silently, a small, approving smile forming on her lips. "Yes, that is the courage I seek," she murmured, as the intruders retreated, forced to pull back by the creature's sudden strength and Yalan's bravery. As the dust settled, Yalan stood panting, holding the creature close. He had faced impossible odds, yet somehow, with his courage and the creature's trust, they had survived. Solara approached him, her eyes calm but intense. "You have proven yourself, human," she said softly, "but this is only the beginning." Above them, the alien sky shimmered in strange colors. Yalan knew that the confrontation had changed everything. He had earned a place in a story far larger than himself, and the journey ahead promised both danger and discovery. He whispered to the creature, "We survived. Together. But I think the real test is still to come." The creature's glowing eyes blinked slowly, as if answering, and Yalan realized the adventure had only just begun. The alien sky was alive with colors as Yalan and the creature stood in the quiet aftermath. The intruders had retreated, their shadows disappearing into the distant canyons. The planet felt calmer, but Yalan knew this peace was only temporary. Solara, the Baroness, approached slowly. Her long robes shimmered in the shifting light, and her eyes, once cold, now held a glimmer of respect. "You have proven yourself, Yalan," she said softly, her voice carrying the weight of centuries of power. "Not many humans would risk everything for a being like this." Yalan held the creature carefully. Its glowing skin pulsed faintly, almost like a heartbeat. He looked at the Baroness. "I didn't do it for reward," he said quietly. "I just couldn't leave it alone." Solara nodded. "Compassion is a rare strength, human. The creature has chosen you, but its legacy belongs to a much larger purpose. You have earned the right to be part of its story," she said. She extended a hand, and the creature stirred, glowing brighter. As if sensing her approval, the creature's trust in Yalan was clear. It had been wounded, alone, and scared, yet it had chosen him as its protector. That bond, forged through bravery and kindness, was stronger than any rule, any law, any power that Baroness commanded. Yalan felt a surge of pride, but also a quiet realization he was only at the beginning of something far bigger. Solara's expression softened further. "I will allow it to stay with you, for now," she said. "But remember, Yalan, the universe is full of beings who will challenge you, and choices like yours can change destinies. Protect it, and you may find yourself part of something extraordinary." Yalan nodded, understanding the weight of her words. He looked down at the creature, whose glowing eyes blinked slowly at him. Together, they had survived impossible odds. Together, they had faced fear, danger, and power far beyond human understanding. And together, they had emerged stronger. The Baroness turned to leave, her robes flowing like liquid metal in the alien light. Before disappearing into the horizon, she glanced back. "This is only the beginning, Yalan. Keep your courage close, it will be needed," she said. Then she vanished, leaving the two of them alone under the shimmering sky. Yalan exhaled deeply. The creature made a soft, comforting sound, curling closer to him. For the first time since finding it, he felt hope, not fear. He realized that kindness, bravery, and trust were weapons as strong as any technology, and sometimes they could change the course of the universe. He looked around at the alien landscape, glowing with an otherworldly light. The adventure was far from over, but he knew they would face it together. Whatever challenges the galaxy threw at them, they were ready. The bond they shared was unbreakable, and their courage was their guide. Yalan whispered softly.